Hello everybody. I am so excited to be back. I'm so sorry I have not made a video in a while. It's been a little while, so I might be a little bit rusty. But I'm excited to come back and do some more stamping with you guys. My life's been a little bit crazy lately, trying to finish up school and stuff. I am just trying to get connected online really quick so I can see myself. We're going to make a fun landscape card using these two stamp sets, the Oceanfront and Grassy Grove. And then we might use this branch here out of the Garden Birdhouses stamp set. But I'm excited to do some landscape art. So to start off, I cut a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white. And I'm going to bring out some scrap papers that I have, just so I can kind of keep my grid paper somewhat clean. And I'm going to do a little bit of shading and stuff on that. I should have had these ready ahead of time. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you, actually, I'm going to clear some of this stuff off. And I'm going to show you really quick this. I've made some of my own stencils, I guess you could say. I don't know. Just something that I can use that has shape to it to give me the kind of shape that I want. And I can do all kinds of landscape things with this. You can do snow mounds or like mountains or grassy hills, any kind of things that you want to make with this. So I've gone through and I've done different angles and shapes, and then some of them, let me see if I can find, I'm trying to find a couple that fit together. Let me see, because I've mixed them all up. But sometimes when I'm doing something like what I'm about to show you, then I need some that fit together. So I think I found them. Okay. So as you can see, I've cut all kinds of different ones, from just the slightest little bit of curve to like some really rocky mountainous area. And then down into like these can be, you know, some of the, like in Utah and some of the places where they have a lot more rocks, like down in Shiprock or up in Chimney Rock. The places I live in southwest Colorado, there's lots of places where there's just some peaks like that that stick up. But we're going to do some more like mountain range kind of areas. So I was going to show you kind of how this fit together. This was one piece of paper, just like that. And so I took one piece of paper and I made like 4 different ranges with it, whatever you want to call it. So to do what I'm getting ready to show you though, we're going to need both pieces to fit together. And I think I'll use the top half because I don't want quite as much. I just want something a little bit more subtle, but still mountainous, like mountain ranges. So we are going to start with our piece of paper there. I'll figure out where I put it. Okay. So I think let's do some pale papaya and some pool party. And I'm going to grab my blending brushes. We're just going to start with those 2 colors. And we want this to be landscape. So I'm going to start down at the, where I want the bottom of, well, it would be the top of the mountain range, the bottom of the sky, where the horizon meets. That's where I'm going to start. And I'm going to start with the pale papaya. And I'm going to pick on here what kind of mountain I want. So let's see for a second. I think I'm going to do something kind of like this, maybe. It's hard to decide. Okay, I think I'll do something kind of... Actually, let me use this other one. Sorry. I will decide today, I promise. Okay, so we're going to start about right there, and I'm just going to hold it. I don't want it quite halfway down, but I want enough room up here to be able to put some things in the sky. So I want my mountains to start around here. So I'm going to kind of put sort of the mountain range that I want to be there. And we're going to hold this down. I have to turn it a little bit because I'm right-handed and I need a little space here. But we're going to hold it down where we want it so that neither of those papers will slip. You're kind of holding them both really tight to the table. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start down here. And like I said, you want to hold it tight so nothing slips. And it probably won't show up because I have this orange paper next to it. I made my templates or stencils, whatever you want to call them, orange so I could find them easily when I went to look for them. So mainly I want a lot of this the brighter orange of the pale papaya to be down close to the horizon. And then to get lighter as it goes up the sky, because I don't want, when I put the pool party on there, I don't want it to be too much of a line there where it has to blend. So you can see it kind of fades off into lighter. Alright, and then we're going to put our pale papaya away, and we'll bring out the pool party. Okay, and with this, we're going to go the opposite. See, there you can see the mountains already. I'm still going to hold this on here though, just because I don't want to get anything else on my mountains. Alright, and then from this, we're going to start from the top up here and work down towards the pale papaya. Hopefully I'm not shaking everything. I'm shaking my desk, and the arm that's holding my phone is attached to my desk, so I hope I'm not shaking you guys too bad. But I want this to be really soft and blended really well, so I don't want any areas where it's just a blob of ink, so I'm making sure to do lots and lots of circles and just blend it really, really well into each other. And that will help our sky just look really, really natural. I've done some skies where we've put some crazy clouds and things in. It's a lot more, you want to use the sponges, I can't think of the name. They're the fingertip sponges though, the ones that are just a small one that you use, and those you can get a little bit more texture out of and stuff, but this one we want just really, really soft, where those two colors just, you can't even see where one ends and the other one begins. And see, there is our sky already. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put our pool party away. And the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to grab some Highland Heather and, let me find it, the Orchid Oasis. And this is where it's going to come in handy, where I said you want to find the two that meet up. So we're going to find the part that matches this, and now we're going to use that on the top to cover that side of it. If you can see what I did there. So like before I used this and held it on the bottom to do the sky, and now we're going to cover the sky so we can do the mountains the other way. So it's nice, like if you make any templates or something, you want to keep them together. And I leave it where you probably can't see this, but I have this tiny little edge of that pale papaya showing there, and I want that because I want these two colors to overlap just a tiny bit to give the edge of my mountain just a little bit more crisp sharpness up there. And I'm going to start with the Highland Heather. I'm going to do a mountain that's a little bit further back, and then I'm going to do one that's closer up in the Orchid Oasis. So I'm going to grab my blending brush with my purple, and I'm going to get this right back on the edge where I wanted it. You want that line across there. I mean, it's just the tiniest line. You probably can't see it very well, even with the naked eye. But But it is there, and once you get done with this section of it, you will see it. So I'm taking this Highland Heather and I'm just pretty much shoving it right up against that edge. I don't want these mountains to go far down into the landscape, so I just want to keep it within probably an inch here. You don't want it to go too much further below that. So pretty much angling my brush up towards that sky, up towards the horizon there, and just shoving the color up there as much as I can to where it's really dark against the horizon line and then gets softer down at the bottom. And you kind of just have to keep going over this. You don't want to get a big blob in one section because it really doesn't, after you get it on the paper, it doesn't come out. It's hard to blend. I took that off right where I had it, so I have to try and match it up again. I wasn't holding it very well and it slipped. Okay, I think that's pretty close. We're about done with this range anyway. We don't want it to be too dark because we do want the one in front of it to show up and look like it's closer. So with the lighter, we want the lighter one to be further away. Okay, so I think we'll end it at that, and you can see I've kind of come down to about right here, and it just ends into white after that. It's really blended, so you can see. Alright, so we'll take that top off, and that is where we are so far. We've done one mountain range, and I'm going to close the Highland Heather and put that away. And then I'm going to bring out the Orchid Oasis. Alright, and now we don't want the exact same mountain range right in front of that, so we definitely want to find a different spot to put in something else. So this is the one we had there, and we obviously don't want to just move it down. You can come down and over or something if you want to kind of shift it, but I kind of like to look for a different spot or flip it over to where it looks just totally different right in front. And we might do something like this. And then you can see the top of my paper sticking out here. So it kind of looks like it's about even. You want to check so it's not way too far down, but you don't want, well, you could have one mountain range sticking out in front of the other if you want, but I mean like sticking up higher than the other one. But usually I like to have it still down below it. Just not too far, because usually the mountains sit pretty close next to each other. So I think I'm going to leave about 1/4 of an inch up the top, and I'm going to turn it again because it's just easier for me to do this right-handed. So I'm going to go in the Orchid Oasis, and again, I don't want to go any further down than like probably less than an inch, maybe more like 3/4 with this one. I'm really just going to go over the top of this line and get a real nice line there. And it'll probably look like I get more on the, gosh, I hope that's not shaking. It'll probably look like I get more on the orange than I do the white, but that's okay, because this is a darker color and we really don't want to overdo it. You can always add more, but like I said, it's really hard to lighten it or blend it. You can't take it off, obviously, so I used to paint a lot, and with painting we could kind of like let it dry and then just paint over the top of it and it wouldn't show through. But with ink it's very, very different, and you have to take that into account that inks will mix colors, so one color won't just lay on top of the other. They're going to mix together. And then they don't, like, you can't lift it off or cover it up. They're going to just blend. So here I'm just kind of going back and forth, making that just blend down into white to where it's like nothing there. Alright, and then we're going to take that off, and there is our second mountain range. Isn't that pretty? I probably could have gone up a little bit. I came down a little bit further than I wanted to, but that is okay. We will make it work. Okay, so I'm going to close this up. And the next thing we are going to do, let me see, I think I'm going to use, sorry, I'm trying to decide which color I want to use. I think we're going to do some soft succulent to start with. We want just like a soft blue-green kind of color. And here is where I'm going to start using my stamps. So let me grab a block. And we're going to use this part, or this stamp here in the ocean front. Alright, and this block, let me see, or this stamp, I'm sorry, I can't do two things at once. My brain will only think about one of them. Okay, so with this one, we're going to come over here and kind of make another horizon line that almost looks like a little hill coming off over here. And then we're going to ink it up again. And then we're going to flip it upside down. So last time we did it this way, we're going to flip it upside down and kind of meet those two in the middle with that slant. And it's okay if they overlap. We're just creating some texture here that's going to look like some fields off in the distance. And then again, we can just ink it up, and you can kind of just put some more in wherever you feel like it needs a little bit more definition. I think on the other side we'll do a little bit more down here. And that gives it like some more, another layer of fields and stuff that's a little bit closer. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and clean off this stamp. And you know what? I got to grab one of my other blocks really quick. I had put it away. I always just keep a lot of these smaller ones here on my desk. But I'm going to need, whoops, I'm going to need the eye block. So it's the large, long one. And we are going to use this piece here. And it is a big one. Okay, so for this one, we are going to use the Evening Evergreen. We're going to go ahead and ink that up. I want to make sure it gets nice, good coverage all over. All right, and then wherever you want here in the front, we're going to go ahead and put this. I think I want to have that bush in there, so we're going to come over to the side here a little bit and do that. And then, since I came off the paper over here, I'm going to have that line right there, and I don't want to have that when I re-ink, so I'm going to stamp it off, try to kind of get rid of that line a little bit. And then I'm going to go back here in the background and kind of stamp that again. It's going to be a lot lighter, but just give us some more texture back there in the back. And we can do that a couple times just to get some of the ink off. There we go. And then that gives us some texture back there in the back as well. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do... Alright, let me grab... We're going to do this stamp right here with the trees. Alright. And we're going to also use the Evening Evergreen for this one. And we're just going to put in some trees wherever we want them. These are going to be far back in the distance a bit, even though we're going to put them on the closest hill. So I'm going to put them up here close. Stamp that, and then we'll go off to the side a little bit and maybe down a little bit and stamp it again. And then we'll ink it up again. We'll do some more over here. We're going to just come off the edge here though and do one tree. I don't want it to be too many. After I've stamped that off, I'm going to put some more here in the background. There we go. I think that's pretty good because I'm going to use this other stamp that we have in here as well, the small trees. And I think I want to put them like kind of where they're in the back over this ridge back here. And they kind of all line up perfectly with that hill. So I think I'll have them back there in the background. Let me clean off a couple of these stamps real quick so I have my blocks. I do have more blocks. I just, I like cleaning my stamps as we go, so I don't have them sitting here at the end with me. And plus I'll end up touching them as we're going, so I just like to clean them as we go. Okay. So, we're going to use the Evening Evergreen for this one as well. Get them nice and inked up. That one tree, it must just have lots of texture because it doesn't look like it's grabbing much ink, but it must have lots of texture down there. Okay, I'm going to try and line up the trunks with the patch of land that we put there. We'll see how well I did. Ooh, not too bad. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to do, I think, I'm trying to decide which order I want to do because I'm going to add a little bit more in the front here. And I also want to add, I think since we have the Evening Evergreen, we're going to go ahead and add the branch to the sky. So let me just grab the, I think it's called Garden Birdhouses, yes. I'm going to grab the branch out of Garden Birdhouses. And with this one, I'm just going to ink it up just with straight Evening Evergreen. Alright, and I want this to look like it's kind of a really close tree that's coming out of the side over here. So I think I'll do it, I'm going to have this one come out further and then I'll fill it in a little bit more. I just don't want it to be too far out there. I think about there looks good. Alright, and then we're going to ink up just the top part here because we're going to put it across the top just to fill it in. Whoops, dropping my blocks. Okay, just to fill it in and make it look like it's got a little bit more here. So right here, we're going to go add some more leaves. All right, and then I'm going to do just the tip part because we're going to add a little bit more coming in down here below. Right there. Okay, that looks pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and clean this one right away because it is photopolymer and those things stain so easy. So I just like to get the ink off of them as soon as I can. Even though there are a few that it doesn't matter how quickly you get it off. It stains either way. I've tried the Versamark. I guess maybe it does help just a tiny bit to put the Versamark on it first, but they still stain, so stained is stained. Okay, I think we're done with, I think I'm going to be done with the Evening Evergreen. I might pull it out a little bit later to add some, a few touches at the end. But right now, we are going to, I'm going to put these back where they belong, and then I'm going to grab the rocks out of the ocean front. Alright. So we're going to start with the big boulder first. And I'm going to grab some early espresso. If I can find it. There it is. Alright, and with our early espresso, we'll ink up this big boulder. And in my mind, I see obviously just this big tree coming out here. So we're going to have a nice boulder rock below it. And it can be as close or as far as your mind wants to see it, you know. That's the nice thing about creating landscapes, is imagination. When everybody looks at it, oh, I just love all the things that you can imagine. I imagine myself there and I just love it. Okay, so I'm going to show you really quick. We want some of this ground in the background to not be white, obviously. But instead of just grabbing another color of brown and coming in with it, I'm just going to grab my brush and I'm going to take a little bit of color off this stamp here because there's some left on there, and take a little color there and brush it on here, and see it fills in the color on there. And then we can have just a really light brown, and that way it doesn't take over the green. It just looks like some nice dirt back there, but you can still see the green that has the grass and whatnot. And it's okay to go over the boulder. I let it sit for a second just to make sure it keeps its shape on the outline, but I don't mind going in here and blending it a little bit more after. It helps to darken it just a little bit and smooth out the texture that they have in there. Okay, so now that I've done that boulder, I want to do the smaller ones. So I'm going to clean this one off really quick, and we'll grab the other one that has two. Alright, and we'll do the same thing with this one. We're going to ink that one up, and these are two smaller rocks, and we'll put them over here. Gosh, it's hard to decide. I think we'll go about right here. And then what I might do is use a little extra to kind of be in the background over there. We'll see how that looks. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing. Just pick up a little bit of ink that's left on this stamp. And we'll just go over the top of this again. Blend any brown into that land behind it. And then if you feel like you need a little bit more than what the stamp has given you, you've got the ink pad right here, so you can always add a little bit more. I think it's really good along the top part. I just want to add a little bit more on the bottom here. So I'm going to come in from the bottom all the way across and just darken this bottom, the front, and make it a little bit darker. Just a little bit, because we're still going to stamp a little bit more too, and we want it to show up. So you don't want it to be too dark. Okay. Now, the last thing we're going to do, well, I guess it's not the last, but the last with the stamping. We're going to grab the small patch of grass out of the oceanfront. So this one right here. And I'm just using the same old block for all of them for the most part. Alright, we're going to close up the early espresso and we'll grab back out the evening evergreen that we had from earlier. And I'm just going to add a little bit of grass right up here in the front. Just make it look like it's poking up out of the picture. Very nice. I think I'm going to have a little bit back here behind this boulder. I don't want it to come on the boulder, but I want it to look like it's sticking out back behind it. We could have a little bit in front, I guess. It would show up because there's a little texture there. Okay, I think that is looking pretty good. So the only thing I like to do is add a few birds to the sky. And if you have a stamp set, neither of these two stamp sets have birds in them. And so usually when I don't have birds, I'll just draw them in myself. If you have a stamp set that has birds in it, you can always grab that and just use them if you want. So it just depends. I'm trying to glance over mine, see if I have any that has... I'll just show you how to draw them. I do have some that have some birds, but I think it's too much for this. I want to keep it calm because we did add a lot in there. Got a little bit off, but I think we're pretty good. Look at how beautiful that is, you guys. This is way easier than painting. I'm just trying to find my Stampin' Right marker really quick. I don't know what I did with it. I think I have one up here. Alright, so I'm just grabbing the black for now. And we're going to use the writing end, so the skinny end. And where do we want some birds? I'm going to put a couple up here that are like the M-shaped birds. And we always want them a couple together. And then down here we'll do a couple of those little V ones, because they're further away. Alright. I think that looks pretty good. What do you guys think? I think this will look really pretty. We can just mount it on, I'm thinking, it's so hard. Probably I'll do an early espresso. It's really hard to pick which color to do with this, but look at the bottom, how much detail showed up with stamps. Isn't that just amazing? I love it. You know how hard I would work to get that kind of stuff with painting? But it's really cool how much showed up, and it's really fun to just create your own art with stamps. All right. So don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, anything that you're on. I would love your support. And I will try to be making some more videos for you guys soon. I'm super excited to have a little bit more time in my schedule, so hopefully I'll be making some more for you and getting more content out there. I hope you all are having a great day. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next time. Bye!